the top of the mind made up. And Oscar showed up. And Abapo showed up. Providence. Very good coincidence. And Abapo said, "Queer, the president need your assurance that Paul will cut the foolishness off." Queer said to Abapo, "We will. If we get the president to move the police, we will." He said, "I will take you to Mr. Talbot." By that time, every official of significance in this town, they have fled. They fled this town. All the people that were pretending to be government officials, they ran with their pants down. No spine. They fled this place. Abapo tried all night. This guy was running, going to Bento, going to the mansion to get to the president. And he said, "Look, Mr. Port, Paul, the operation is good to go, okay? We're good to go. And so when you say we should cut a demonstration or 12 midnight, okay, we'll cut it off." We send word to our people from 12 midnight to about 6, 7 o'clock that morning that when you hear a gunshot goes off, that's the only time you move from your place. Wherever you are, stay. Don't move. There's a man in this place, they call him Wilfred Clark. Was supposed to have been one of the security guru in this town. There was a thing we used to do, we call it cell. A cell, little something, little something to, get the word out. But Wilfred said he saw that word in a Communist Manifesto. And when you talk about cell, it's about underground activities. And Paul was employing that tactic to go underground. And Wilfred Clark wanted to know. He wanted to know. At that time, Vanny Dempster was at the height of his career as a policeman. One of Liberia's finest policemen. There was this kid, we're all friends in high school, very smart kid, Gabriel Scott. He graduated from CWA. Gabriel Scott. We all graduated from high school 1972. Gabriel, he came from the other side. They chased him, he went away, he got a degree, police science or something. He got a little something, he came back looking good. The kid was looking good. They brought in one Gerald Richard, that boy from B.W. Harris. And he said too, he was a policeman. Yeah. But we learned things too. They had the police, we have a man in the police. So at least we knew what they were trying to do. The Progressive Alliance of Liberia, let me say, Mr. Chairman, we recruited day and night. We recruited. And our research, our effort, revealed that Liberia were ready to flip the page. April 14 finally arrived. About 6 o'clock, I think, between 6:30, I saw this boy approaching Greater Street, approaching Powell office. They call him Henry Boima Fambule. This boy I saw 1968 crying to see his father was being tortured on this center street. I said, this is my friend. And since 68, I had not seen him until that morning. I finally saw my friend. But the information I had was such that I couldn't let Boima stay there again. The atrocity that was in the making was huge. And the true we party would love to inflict pain on the state. I ran to him. I said, Pete, you ready, man? He said, Karn, I need the itinerary. He said, we got to go. I said, no, boy, man, you ain't going nowhere. He said, what is that now? The demonstration canceled? I said, no. You find your way to the executive mansion ground 3 p.m. I will be there. The word was out that every power person will not mind will show to the executive mansion and will be there 3 o'clock. We sent out the word that every power person, the cadre, needed to come to Garden Street because I was there. That was the command center. $6:30 p.m. They brought this army truck from Todi. On that truck was Thomas Westside. Was Henry Zuo. Was Thomas Koyoba. They came and they posted them in the cemetery and they took their seat. They started bringing the army, man. Then begin, you got to have your nerve, man. It was tough. I mean, I was sweaty. Sit down, these boys will kill the money. There's a guy, we went to gas school for 4 or 5 years. You know, where they have Ministry of Labor? Across the street there used to be a government school. That is the school I went to. From 2nd grade, they were stopping at 6th grade. When you graduate from 6th grade, then you go find someplace else to do. And I met a kid. And they both were big in the CID. Samuel Gay came to me. He said, they will shoot you this morning. Be careful. May his soul rest in peace. Marco Bober came and Marco said to me, so, well, I made it. He said, these people will do something this morning. What will you do? So I asked him, but you saw Westside? He said, let me look around because the army just came. The police started to truck the air part of men too now, being. At nerve to nerve now. It was about 7:38. The place was getting crowded. Very, very, very crowded. I think about 8:50, 8:30, George Brown arrived. He said, Karn, this is not a good day for our country. I said, tell me, Bishop. He said, you need prayer. I know that, Bishop. So pray for me. He said the sign of the cross. And I asked him, so Bishop, I'm okay now? somebody to Powell office to see if I was okay. I had a very good friend in Firestone, Dr. Trapp. Trapp was one of Liberia's finest medical doctors, eye specialists. Well, our good friend. So he came. All of our friends concluded that I would be in the heat of that confusion that was taking place. There's a guy in the police, he was the deputy director of police, they call him Johnson. I don't remember the other name, but the True Party people who live in the state know the name. Or better yet, you can check the police record 1979, who was deputy police director. Deputy police director for operation. He came, he brought a truck load of police. He said if this place is not vacated immediately, it will be rough. And one of our guys said, Bati, oh, Bati. Then I said to him with a smile, I said, so were you ready to kill? Is that what would be rough? And when I approached him, upon my oath, that whole place was quiet. I said, Johnson, we're not leaving here. We're not. Greater Street, the place we occupied, there's something about the place. Mr. Chairman, it was public, it was private property. Powell office, the area we covered, was private property. We had a right to be there. We moved every Powell person that was in the general facility to come and squeeze on Powell property. We knew if we touched the street, we would be violating the law. And this Johnson guy came to talk tough to me. Said, and I asked him, I said, so the police thing you're doing, you don't learn book? You know law? How can you begin be man in the police, you know law? You know law, then you say you be policeman. He was pissed. All the guys started clapping and started yelling. A lot of we are put flame on them. They were trucking police, man. And Michael came back to me and said, well, I bought finally play. There's a problem matter someone but finally play. The meaning said, don't be afraid. It will be tough this morning on this ground. No policeman will shoot here. We have wrestled the military from the government. Yes, sir. We have defeated the government on that count. You want to operate the armed forces of Liberia with a tint, with a bias? Do you know what you're doing? Consider the army question as you put together this TRC business, oh man. When you construct the agenda for Liberia for the next 30, 40 years, you better pay attention to the military piece. Let me raise for you another question. Who were those Liberians that were being recruited to the armed forces of Liberia? Who were they? They were Crown, they were Gio, they were Lomans. Nine out of 10 members of the armed forces of Liberia came from those three tribes. And you say you organize a national army. And you say when you have high school education, you will not be admitted to the army. and you say, this army will protect you. What kind of business is that? What kind of people are these? This is a tough business, Mr. Chairman. It's a tough business. The army came, and Thomas Westside brought the army out. You know the story. I don't need to go there. You know the story. The army took the day off. The police were left in the middle of the road. Bishop Brown said, Karn, so what will you do? I told him, Bishop, last night, Mr. Pope came here and told us not to demonstrate. Then I laughed and I said, so Bishop, look now, Bishop, look. You see, if you leave from here today, go back on Gate Street and you see the sewer, you know that place, the dirty water run? They are just building. And the word we got was that the police would put the power people in our water and drown them. And so what we did, we moved our guys away from the drainage to get space. Because the police, we are cranking ourselves up that the police will not come from behind, or they only have to come to the front. Being so stupid. Stupid boys. They came to arrest. And what we did that morning also, they did not see Oscar Queer. They did not see Gabriel Bacchus Matthews. And we locked all the door to Powell office. And they immediately concluded that Matthew was in the building. And they ordered to open fire on the building. They ordered that the chairman, the secretary general, and all those damn power people just shoot them. Yes. It was rough. It was rough. But they were not there. So our guys in the security network told us, you got to find a way to get Matthew all of that place. Deacon, you got to do something. The chairman in there. I said, yeah, it's okay. He'll be safe. We'll be safe. Bishop working on something. Our Pope working on something. Because we were afraid, we thought it could, every police or every security person is a double agent. They bring you news and they carry news. And we mastered that. And Bishop called Oliver Bright, called the president. I just want to say this morning, thank you, Judge Brown. Thank you for everything. There's a bishop, there's a priest that came from Foya. An Episcopal priest. He said, Bishop, they need prayer. Let's pray for them again. And so he led a prayer. And Bishop said, let me call Oliver Bright again, the Minister of Justice. The Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of Liberia. The Attorney General of Liberia supposed to be the people's lawyer. We lost that one. Couldn't get my Attorney General. So Bishop Brown said, Karn, by that time now, when you look in the graveyard, get the street side, the police, the army, begin, haja. By that time, the word was out. And our people start to approach Garden Street. At that time, we have put the cell operation in swing. The police were moving too fast on us, and we had to stop them. So the word went out. The position Broad Street, Ashmont Street, every major street, our people moved there. The cell was in motion. This policeman came back. The deputy director for operation came back. And he stepped on Paul's ground. This consecrated ground. The people's place. And I asked him, could you just leave this place so that we will have peace? He pulled back. Gerald Riches came loaded. And they opened fire on our office. The first gunshot that went off April 14, Mr. Chairman, was fired by the police. The police that came to order the arrest were pushed into the Sony. By that time, Bishop Brown had moved me out. The cadre had covered me out. I had to get out of there because we didn't want the command to broke. It would be broken if they take me away. They opened fire, Piggy. Sorry, Mr. Chairman. They opened fire. They opened fire. There's a man that I want you to find, Mr. Chairman. Benson Barr. He's a medical doctor. Part of our preparation for this day, we put in place some quasi-medic that maybe somebody who need to drink, who, you know. By 10 o'clock that morning, when Bishop took me, and I came back on Kerry Street, there was some pharmacists that were there. And Benson Barr and I had agreed to meet there. I wanted Benson to have some money to buy drugs or all kind of stuff. And so when Bishop took me and the police were moving, nobody knew me. So I told Bishop, if I stay with you, they will kill me. I can't stay with you. Our cadre moved me from Bishop. So we left the Episcopal. He took me to Episcopal Church. But I concluded that the police could raid the church. The heartless police, they would raid the church. The government that had no conscience would raid the church. I met Benson Barr right here. Benson, medical doctor, MD. When he saw the movement, he said, Karn, I'm moving the center to JFK. Something will happen here today. I said, for true and doctor? He said, yes. So he moved. The little Babati operation we have put together, he moved it to JFK. It became our trauma unit. It became our trauma unit. It became our emergency center. Benson Bar. I hope he is living today. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the effort. Benson Bar and a group went to JFK that morning of April 14, Mr. Chairman. They did not leave until 1 week later. Nobody would go to work. Whatever little doctor or nurse, group of nurses that were there, they were there. That was it. More so when they observed the violent reaction of government. Benson Bar stayed at John F. Kennedy April 14, 15, 16, 19. I think I got arrested by April 20. Yeah. By that time, that Monday, you know, all the government officials that ran from this town, chicken up, you know, they started to come by and start to make statements acting that good government official then. You know, they decided now they can be government official. It's safe now. And so they came back to the city and they started to issue some strong statement now. Every true we party person started, you know, they started dusting all their old 1956 resolution, their speeches, started dusting their paper, you know, and they came to town. And the word was, arrest them, live or dead or alive. $25,000 for this one, for that one, you know, Matthew, Quia, Marcus, Don, Mason, Famule, Tibote, all these, you know. I mean, it was rough, it was a difficult time. The joke I thought was, Duke Mason was in Sino doing some family thing, they arrested his butt, and they brought Duke to Monrovia and said, you know, you cannot be in Sino and you say you know. They brought everyone the true one into jail. And I think around the 19th or the 20th of Benson Bar left. I know there are a lot of people in this town who will talk about how many people died or how many people got hurt April 14. I know there are a lot of people in this town who will talk about loss of properties. I know one name, Mr. Chairman. Benson Bar. Benson Bar.
Can I just interrupt you a little, Mr. Witness? I beg your pardon.
Please.
There's an accident out there. A truck has hit a green Jeep, license plate 8318. The police is requesting, just in case, if the person is in here, you should please proceed outside. Thank you very much. I'm sorry and thank you.
Thank you. If you heard that, please go out there and give some help. Thank you. So, like I said, there are people who will talk about this and that. Benson Bar. And the reason I say so, Mr. Chairman, the report issued by the governor of Liberia through the Minister of Health, Dr. Kate Bryant, her first report on the crisis was 79 people got killed. That was a report of Kate Bryan. That was the initial report released by government. A lot of when she went by, the government people gave her some beating, then she reduced it to 41 or somewhere there. Two, 3 days later, Mr. Chairman, families went to President Talbot. They wanted to receive their body. They wanted to bury their children. And the True Party decided that if relatives, friends buried their own, it would be disruptive to the society. That the government of Liberia will bury them. And guess what? Guess what, oh man? President Talbot and the True Party decided that they will bury Pal people in a mass grave across, to the back of gender ministry. They where they bury them in a mass grave. Behind gender ministry, the Pal people were buried there. What I want you to know, Mr. Chairman, the president and his people decided to teach Pal a lesson, to rub our faces in the mud. And so they brought them on our doorstep to abuse us, to humiliate us. They buried them in a mass grave on our doorstep. And somebody in this country say, Pal brought the confusion, and Pal should apologize. Mr. Chairman, what's the true meaning of this commission? What the commission is supposed to do? Is a commission to help us heal? Is that what the commission is about? To help us heal? When the nation goes through, say, the April 14 crisis, or the 14, 15 years of war, with all the atrocity, people go in shock. They are stressed. There's disconnection. Because in that process, Mr. Chairman, they have difficulty to grieve. They cannot move. Mr. Chairman, I know a thing or two about that. I've never got to move my father. My mother got killed too. I never moved her, oh man. I'm blind in this eye, Mr. Chairman. I never get a chance to just stop and look. I was moving. And somebody say, they bury the Pal people on our doorstep. Of all the land in this town, the only place President Talbot and the True Party could find, using Frank Talbot's word, they buried them in our living room. Then they jailed us. Boy in jail. I remember it was about 575 people that were placed in South Beach Prison, Mr. Chairman. The number we got in terms of death was about 300. But we decided to do one thing, Mr. Chairman. We decided that the government of Liberia report says 79. That was just too many. And so we're not going to go into no argument with them. We'll stay with the government number. We, the members of PAL, we have unflinching commitment to stay within the rules. And I believe this morning, let me confess, that's why we defeated the True We Party. They were not disciplined. Their own rules, begin. They couldn't keep it. Their own rules. They could not keep it. So, I guess they played what they had. They had a radio. They had a TV. When they arrested all the power leaders from around the country, then they went on a blast. The Liberian Age, the editorials. Read again, you have the resources, my friend. All the partners you get, ask them. Then they give some money to go do some research. Go find the Liberian Age, find that newspaper. If I say all of April 1979, the Liberian Star, find it. 1979, all of April. There are other stories that came up later on in the month, but those for 2-3 weeks of April 79, or the last 2 weeks of April 79, read them. Find them. Whether it's the Bento Times, whether it's the other Kabati paper, a lot of them. But go do the research. And I'm inviting you not to part position. I'm inviting you to read what the government wrote. That's what I'm asking you to read. Read what the government say. Officially, this is the first edition of the Progressive Alliance of Liberia on this crisis. This is, we documented after we came from jail, we produced what we call April 14 area. I think that paper, because we took recess, we took recess. After all that confusion, we went to prison. Then I will bring you back to the prison question, but we agree after July 4th that we will all take recess. So we disappear. Every power person disappeared from this town. Because we concluded that the government will use the president or some power person, they will shoot you and they will say you want to overthrow or something. And so we disappear between July, all of August. There's something that I want you to know here also. We have made friends with a gentleman, a practicing lawyer, Joseph Chesson. Chesson agreed to serve as our lawyer. For about 3 years or so, Chesson provided legal service to us. Chesson was mentioned as one of the most ruthless Attorney General of Liberia. Very ruthless opposition party. Joseph Chesson served as Attorney General of Liberia, now Minister of Justice. So we got him to be our lawyer. And we got Chesing because we thought he understood the corny business. You know, true about people? They were tricky. They master all the bad laws in a place. They master it. And we thought Chesing would be the man to confront them. And then sadly for us, April 14 came. The government ordered power people to be arrested. After that Saturday, that Sunday, Monday, I think Tuesday, Bacchus, Matthews sent a word to Chesing that he wanted to see President Talbot. President Talbot agreed to see Chesing. And Chesing went to the mansion to meet with President Talbot with Matthew there. He turned Matthew over to the president and asked for the president's assurance that Matthew's rights will be protected. The president agreed. The president said to Matthew, quote, "You better cooperate." Matthew said, "Yes, Mr. President, I will cooperate." He said, "You better damn well cooperate." President Talbot was mad then, my friend. The guy who record as peacemaker, as progressive, it was under close scrutiny, my friends. He said, "You better damn well cooperate." He ordered the security, "Get him out of here." And Chesing fired back to the president and said, "Mr. President, I hope Mr. Matthew rights will be protected." He said, "Mr. Counselor, we will do everything we can, honor the law." And Matthew was taken away. By that time, South Beach was crowded. 500 to 600 power leaders from all across the country. And they brought us who were considered, I guess, front row people, and they took us to one of the cells in the back of South Beach. South Beach, they looked at that cell was occupied by the top criminals, the difficult boys. And those boys, they used to toilet on the floor or toilet and dump the feces in the drum. The play was yucky. And that's where they put us. They just dump out there. Wherever you stay in that room, you will step on some shit. Wherever you stay in the room, the boots were all over the place. And we were supposed to clean the place to sit or sleep. The soldiers that were in that cell, most of them were loafer people, Loma guys. There's a guy they call him Mulba Bani. Mulba Loma is fluent. Very fluent, man. My man, the first 12 hours we spent in our cell, damn. What? I went to Mulba, I said, "Hey, you can't talk. What happened to all the Loma business? The Loma you can't talk. What happened to the Loma, man? These people, they are people. Talk to them, man." Thank you, Biggie. Thank you for job well done. And he took the soldiers on. Started to talk some serious Loma, man. Because the government had informed the people that were from all the town that were trying to spoil it, to overthrow the government. True, we parties strive over the years on deception. and lies. There was no bone in one of those bodies that would tell the truth. Lies and deception. They told the people were foreigners, communists that came to spoil this place. And the officers in that prison were very difficult to approach. And Barney went to work. And he saved us. He saved us. He told us, and they told us, okay, you're clean, you come outside, you may not stay inside, they pour outside. When they hear some B-men coming, then they do that, they're doing their work, then they pour back inside. As soon as they hear some B-men coming, then they pour back. When the B-men leave, they take her out to stand outside. Then after a few days, they move her from that bar prison. And they pour her to another prison. President Talbot went to Chesson. No, before, Gabriel Matthews was taken to NSA. While the rest of all 500-600 people were in South Beach, Gabriel was taken to NSA. And one morning, there's a guy, they call him Edric. I think he was either the director or the deputy director of, they had some bureau, they say corruption bureau or something like that. And they had constituted an investigation panel. And I think he was one of the lead persons on the panel. On the panel, they had the Shield. They name all of them. They supposed to be B-men then in the army. And at that time, the top ranking officer in the armed forces of Liberia were American Liberian, while the ranks and file of the army were natives. The rank and file of the security apparatus of Liberia were them. If you fall in a crack, then maybe you have very good grade and they can't help it, then they pull you out there. But then they pull all their men and honor you. And those boys were hot, man. So Edred and one other person went to Matthews and said to Matthews that he said, Mr. Matthews, he went to Matthews' cell. He said to him, are you ready? Are you ready? He said, are you ready? And Matthew said, ready to do what? He said, oh, okay. And he left. Because Matthew was not ready. Matthew didn't know what to do. That means he ready. So he came back a day or two and asked Matthews, are you ready? This time, he came back to Mr. Matthews with a pen and some papers. Some paper. He said, so Matthew said, I'm ready. He said, good. And I'm saying this so you hear and understand, because for kids that were born say 1980, they are today 19 or that were born, say, 1979, they're almost 30. None of them will tell you they have heard past story. Not one. So President Tolba, this Edrich guy said, you better, and Matthew wrote a letter. There's a passage of that letter that I let you read. The last paragraph of that letter from Mr. Matthews. I plead that you constitute all of us into a special committee for national reconstruction. His duty may include, as you see fit, the awakening of public spirit for the OU conference, promoting a nationwide all Liberians are one, campaign reassuring business houses that the events of April 14 are behind us and will not be repeated, and with assistance of our associates abroad, a well-ordered public relations campaign to raise high again our country's image abroad. That was the concluding passage of Mr. Matthews' letter to President Talbot. By that time, every True We Party person, operative, they were building, they were hosting meetings, issuing resolutions, condemning everything that look, that smell, that resemble power. President Talbot did something. He immediately President Talbot, he responded to Matthew's letter immediately, the same day. And on May 10, this panel is supposed to have money. You're supposed to have all the resources. You'll go do the homework. President Talbot convened the True We Party, and he had this to say. He said, we remain continually open to new approaches. I have no monopoly over ideas. Let us all join to build the new Liberia. This is why, as we undertake to assess fully the implications of the events of April 14, we have decided to constitute a commission charged with the responsibility of receiving and analyzing suggestions from concerned citizens for the reconstructions of Liberia and submitting recommendations for the attention of government. And I assure you, they will be given speedy attention by government. This commission, you have the resources. Go and find the Nadisia Branel report. Go and find it. After this, Chesson went to see us, our lawyer. But the True We Party people have decided that Chesson, knowing us, knowing how ruthless Chesson was in the 50s and 60s, they decided to recruit him. Oliver Duncan at that time was bad news. He had misled the government. Oliver Bright, bad news. Bad news. Bad news. The government wanted a new justice minister. And the reason for recruiting Chesson, every opposition case, every political opposition case that took place in Liberia between 1960 up to the time the last political case, I believe, of Albert Post and the Prince Brown case, Chelsea defended opposition. He had established credibility in the legal community. And the government needed that. They needed it bad. Mr. Talbot needed an Attorney General very badly. So, the president made an offer to Chesson. The offer was considered and it was accepted by Chesson. Chesson became the lawyer and the Attorney General of Liberia. As far as you were concerned, he just finished with us. He just moved on to a new project. So we're left with no lawyer. And I tell you something, Counselor. Between 1976, beside Chesson, in this town, no lawyer will represent opposition. No lawyer in this town. No lawyer in this town will take on activities of the opposition. And to you young people, I'm sure a lot of you are the different attire shop this morning. If and when you decide to do opposition activities, you got to find your own men. You got to train your own people. That's the lesson we learned with Chesson walking off on us. He was now our man. There's something else, all of you young people, that I want you to know this morning. The opposition, PAL or slide PPP, were different. The people who made up of True We Party were people who wanted to make money. They had different interests. They had class interests. Boyman family took you through that. I wouldn't go there because I don't want to do injustice to Boyman stuff. Boyman told you the class struggle in this country. So I wouldn't go there. But I can safely say that people who engage in True We Party, they were different. The people who got involved with PAL were different. Different value system, different belief system. I cannot be Karn Carlor. We are different from our parents. We are different from our parents. And True We Party have never had an occasion to deal with that sort of opposition since 1869. We are different. They didn't know how to deal with us. We were young. We had nothing. We were poor. We had nothing in common. Besides the fact that they believe we say we Liberian, and maybe they say, yeah, maybe. Maybe. They didn't even think we were Liberian. As far as they were concerned, we were in their place. We went to one meeting and Reginald Townsend, local, he was then chairman of True We Party. And the Secretary General of PAL, he said, Kwe. he said, Kwe. Lord help us all. He said, Kwe. But where this young Kwe? Where's this? Kwe. Reginald Thompson, chairman of the True We Party. And in that same meeting, Frank Talbot, the senior brother of President Talbot, and President Pro Tempore, he said to us, you mean you're coming in our place? That the mansion you're talking about. Our place. You coming in our place. You know, this true party business, I'm going through all of this. It may be boring for you, Mr. Chairman, but Commander Wise Jr. said to me the day Dr. Famule was testifying, he said, Deacon, what is wrong with you people telling your palace story? He said, how come you people are not willing to tell the story? And Mr. Chairman, if you want me to, I will take the oath again. Everything I say here, you check it. If your one line is false, charge me perjury. How you call it, pay your lawyer? What's the word? Yeah. Every single thing I say here. We get lawyer. No lawyer. So we started sitting on my house and said, two people down there, they ruffle, no lawyer. We started to laugh, you know, and we were making fun of it, you know. And while we're in jail, before Matthew published a letter, Boyman Famule came with some bad analysis begin. Boyman, you know, Boyman had traveled the West African region. And they said there were some opposition activities, and Boyman related that there was a breach in Conakry. And these people said they wanted to overthrow Ahmed Sekou Touré. And they decided to execute them. When they executed them, they hung them on the bridge. On the bridge. And that day, for some strange reason, if you went to South Beach Prison, I don't know if it stayed there, but there's a building, they call it a gallows. You know, they did some hanging here in the early 70s. And all of us, I guess curiosity took us to the gallows. When we saw the gallows, that sight sent chill through our spine. We all went back to the cell. We went to the cell. And then Boyman came with a great analysis. All the time we spent in prison, I do not recall the chilly night. There were no day that impacted me than that day. Boyman's description of how they treated the political opposition in Guinea. I recall not too long they released Boyman, took him up. They took up all the guys, they freed them. Matthew had written the letter that I read. President Tolbert had constituted the 31-man Netessier Brunel commission. You may want to know something quick. Netessier Brunel was part of the opposition in 1956, a lawyer. He was treated very badly in prison. I think he spent over 10 years in prison. There's another lawyer they call Billy Harris, opposition. He spent over 10 years in prison. But these men, they have good reputation. So the country respected them. They by association, the legal, all the people, they respected Nedesi Brownell, Billy Horace, Cassell, Abayomi Cassell. These were very knowledgeable lawyers. But most of the cases they did good bit of opposition cases. They put everything they had, they knew, to oppose the government or to bring out truth for our country. And so today you can now have JPC, all a civil society organization, and all of that. These were able lawyers. I guess they were not looking for money. I like to believe they were looking for the truth. They stood tall, eyeball to eyeball with True We Party. And they knew what it took to oppose the almighty True We Party. Their symbol was the elephant. How many of you have seen elephant? How many people in this country have seen live elephant? When an animal is walking, right? Imagine that thing stepping on you. Imagine True We Party stepping on you. You dead. You dead. You dead. They took Chesson. Nedesi Brownell again came and combed the facts. And combed the facts. What led to April 14? And how we can save our country from April 14, or as a result of April 14. And you, Commissioner, if you have not gotten the copy of Nedesi Brownell report, please find it and read it. I have some here, but I will not read it because you're supposed to do your homework before you call people here. I will not read it. It's not disrespect to the commission, but I just want the commission to do its work. We came, Nedesi Brownell issued his report. President Talbot, we requested President Talbot from prison. He was gracious enough to allow Oscar Quia and Barkus Matthews to meet with him in Bentall. No publicity. They took the prisoners, to go meet with a papi. Yeah. They met the president and some of the people. They had I guess, when Mr. Quia came back to us at the prison, we were so anxious and we just want to hear what the president say. Because we were tired of being JB. I've never been to a police station, let alone jail. So what you say, my man? Oscar acting big and bad now, he gets some strong information. They have separated him from Mr. Matthews. Mr. Matthews was taken back to NSA. And then a few days later, the Brownell Commission report was released. And part of the recommendation was to release all of us, the leadership of power. June 26, 1979. It's important for you to know, though, that at that time, President Talbot was preparing to host the OAU. there was nothing in this world that would stand between Mr. Talbot hosting the OU and becoming the spokesperson for Africa. President Talbot wanted it, and he wanted it bad. To be the spokesperson of Mother Africa. And which of us would not like it? Which of us in the political business would not want to speak for this continent, this great continent, this proud land, this richest real estate on the face of this earth? Which of us would not want to be the spokesperson? Here was something we had to. We wanted to get out of jail very badly so that we go do opposition. We wanted it, and we wanted it bad. We didn't want for public to lose the sense that we took them to this critical point and we will run away. Or we couldn't afford for the world to be that one of us had been killed, or that one of us changed to true we party, because there were a lot of gestures made. So President Talbot released us, and I guess, I don't think it was deliberate. April 27, we went to Gertie Street. You know, where the ex-prisoner now, we went to Gertie Street from jail now. And that day, June 27, 1979. And that day, for some reason, I don't know why, but it just happened. Every one of us has some little t-shirt looking nasty up, you know, wearing t-shirt. And President Talbot said security, they wanted to see us. And we must go to the people's mansion in t-shirt, we're naked. When we got in the office was Speaker Richie Abraham Henrys, Frank Talbot, E. Reginald Townsend, chairman of the party. He was also Minister of Presidential Affairs. No, in fact, the True We Party, yeah, well, Thompson, I think Thompson was chairman of the party. And then in our meeting was the very, this guy was new. I later online, very smart man, they call him Dr. Ewudan. A blinding scholar, very knowledgeable. And Ewu was in the office. And Ewu was the note taker. On our side was Gabriel Matthews, Oscar Jai Kuya, Samuel Polyvius Jackson, and Karn Carlor. We arrived, you know, all the True We Party people, they were seated on the right hand of the president. And we were seated on the left side of the woman. And when we were seated, the president asked the security to leave the room. He asked the press to leave the room. And Gabriel got on his feet. He thanked the president for his goodwill that never has it been done. Political prisoners to be free and be invited, and we're appreciative of the president's offer. middle of Matthew's statement, Frank Talbot stood and he said to the president, "You allow them here again?" These same boys, you bring them here again? I think we spent with President Talbot about an hour. Frank Talbot closed his eyes, and those eyes were never opened until we left that room. He had no use for us. He had no use for us. In fact, by the way, the foreign minister of Liberia, Celso Dennis, was in our meeting. And I'm saying this to say so that just in case historians go do the research, so somebody can't say, that's what I try as much as possible to place people at different meetings I attend. Throughout this conversation, I will be fast tracking, but I will be bringing events that turn the page of our country. The president, we told him that whatever he wanted us to do, we'll do to make sure that OAU is successful. We told him that we decided that we'll suspend all political activities until the OAU is hosted. We left, we went for vacation for 2 months. The native people then got to go back home now, and leave the people of town. This is not our town. Besides Matthew, I guess Matthew was the only one in our group that was from Monserrate. The rest of us from, some of the funny places. So we left Matthew right here with people. And the rest of us went to our places. September 1979. We reconvened. We did two things at the September reconvening of September 1979. We declared the government that we registered the Progressive People's Party, a vanguard party. We wrote President Talbot. Jackson was then the Minister of Justice. And we informed him that we will be coming to him for legal thing. And I went to see him and he said, "Karn, well, your brother that lawyer?" I said, "Yeah, my brother is a lawyer. But my brother is not the Attorney General of Liberia. You are." Then he laughed. He said, "But Karn, you don't want to do this thing, you're supposed to have money. How you always do this thing, you don't get money?" I said to him, "But all the money you've been making, and what other money you get you want, man? You make plenty of money, look at your stomach." And we laugh, He said, "All right, you better bring money here next time. You want to or something, then you gotta pay for it, Karn. You Say anytime we want legal something, we'll come back to you." At the closing, he said, "You better come back before you make some mistake out there." We issued a letter. By that time, we were all over the country again, trying to just tune the machine, just put some little touch up. We wrote the president that we're back, and we wrote a paper, maybe American Embassy, some of the people find it. The title is The Voice of the Revolution, but that particular title is April 14 area. That's the title. If you don't have it, find it, you will find it. It's a complete dossier, complete documentation of what happened. April 14 area. That's how we call the edition. It was issued in September. And in addition, we say we register the party. And we register the party in October. I think we said October 11 or something. So, personally, me, I left town. I went to do what I do best. I train, I mobilize, I organize. That's all I know to do, to get things done. That's all I could do, to be through with party. Because for me, it was a mission. It was a family mission. And I think it was the mission for other kids that came around. Because it could not just happen like that. These young kids, they were very bright. Today, Marcus Joy, Elisha Tapler, Sando Wayne, all the boys were bright. High school kids, well-disciplined kids. Richie Panto, I mean, you can name them, Gilmoya, Flomo, you name them. These boys were good. They were all in different multilateral high schools around the country. They were very smart kids. And we say we organize our party. We will go to court October 11. The excitement was in the air, man. We have our own party. We need to pay attention to True We Party. Like I said to you, we were not our fathers. We're different. We're not looking for jobs. We're not looking to get rich. We wanted change to come, and if and when it comes, we'll be the beneficiary. And we didn't have to steal a dime. I can get some cool water on this. We're not looking to build girlfriend houses. We're not looking to generate new bank accounts. We wanted this country to make a time, to turn a corner. And we concluded that the one and only way to achieve that was to broaden participation, was to promote inclusion and not exclusion, was to create opportunity, broaden the power, promote basket on the table. And then you hear some people say, that's also gravy. Gravy? In this place? Me, gravy? And better yet, one time Chair Chipo was talking and somebody said to Chipo, and you want to enjoy the gravy? Chipo said, I cook the gravy. He said, I cook this gravy you're talking about eating, I cook it. I did what nobody wanted to do. Chipo. He was here the other day. We wanted to register our party, Mr. Chairman. We did not have a lawyer because Chesney are gone from us. But we needed a lawyer. We compiled the party papers and returned to Monrovia with all the signatories from around the country. I think 7,000 names or so. And at that time, nobody has seen True We Party registration document. True We Party, you know, this country has gone through 3 major experiments, my friend. The first experiment that took place in this place was the light-skinned people. Those learned boys, those traders, who learn there's a piece thing in our history, the love of liberty brought us here. And those who the love of liberty brought us here were light-skinned people. To a very large extent, they constituted the new republic, 1847. The light-skinned people. By 1868, 1869, the division, the diversity had brought in. And these men and women just did not know how to celebrate diversity. They could not enjoy their differences. They didn't know how to manage differences. And so, by that time, the business class in 1867, 1860, 61, up there, different kind of people start to come from the West Indies, from other places. But these people that were coming were kind of traders. They were all like, please let me stand corrected, just in case some historian is listening to this stuff I'm talking about. I don't mean harm to do injustice to the literature. But they were different too. They had different interests from the light-skinned people. And they wanted to take over the machine of governance. They wanted to usher in a new regime. And they defeated the light-skinned people. And that effectively came to an end the first experiment in governance in our country. In 1869, E.J. Rowe was installed president. That was the beginning of the True We Party. And the True We Party was riding on the popularity that there will be inclusion, that there will be opportunity, that there will be trade, and on and on and on. And as you will note, over the years, they abandoned the cornerstone of the party. They start to stifle progress. They start to reduce the possibilities and opportunities in our country. And because they lost the popularity that they had to resort to new tactics, tricks, lies, deception. And that was the True We Party that the Progressive People Party came to face with our lawyer. When we decided to go to court with our lawyer, Matthew and myself, we always comparing notes. Sometimes we laugh at somebody here, we laugh at somebody there. And I told Gabriel, I don't care what you say, I'm going to Chipo. He said, that your man? I said, yeah, that's my man. He said, so what you will say to him, Carlo? I say, I'm going to ask the man to represent my man. What do you mean, what I would say? I say, I'm looking for a lawyer to carry paper to court. He said, damn. But Chipo was just thrown out, was just impeached by the True Will Party people. And that's the man you say you want to bring to carry papers to court. I said, okay, Gabriel, if you don't want that, then just give me another lawyer. But I got to take these papers to court. He said, okay, Carlo, all right, okay. Let me know. And 2 of us parted company. I went to Chipo. We had a talk. He said, Carlo, I don't mind going to court, but I don't have license to practice. I said, but Pinga, you will be a lawyer, you don't get license to practice. He said, Carlo, what's wrong with you? I don't have license to practice. I said, but so what you need to do? He said, well, you know, days, you got to do days, you got to do that. I said, all right, okay, list all the things that I got to do. He listed them, and he listed that I have to get some revenue clearance, and then they will issue the license to practice. I had my childhood friend who was in revenue then. They call him Benedict Pine Wilson. Ben had graduated from the University of Liberia, and Ben was almost special assistant to the Commissioner of Revenue. So he went, he found all the things you needed to do, and he went to the Commissioner of Custom. The Commissioner of Custom, he read power paper every time. Ben made sure he gave me a copy. And when we went in, he told Ben, look, there's a paper. He said, but your man get money? Because you know, then he started teasing Ben. He said, you know, you'll never get money. I don't know how you will do the thing here. And Ben came back to me. He said, my man, you get money? I said, yeah, Ben, we get money. We had just published April 14 year. That was the only source of income. The Voice of the Revolution. People would buy the paper from us 50 cents and they would go sell it $5 some places. That's how hot the paper was on the market. So the money Ben called, I paid for all this stuff, and they gave me my license. I went jumping up. I ran from Ministry of Finance to Garden Street. I was now convinced that the party would be registered now. The one and only obstacle was removed. Chipo became our lawyer. Chipo became our lawyer. And everywhere Chipo went, I put surveillance on him. I didn't want another Joseph Chesson business again. Whoever Chipo talked to, I wanted to know who he talked to. One day, Chipo was going down Macklin Street. This poor man was just driving, and these security people, they just boxed him in. And they start to rough him up. And the cadre were there. Our guys were there. They too started pushing the police, and they boxed Chipo in. Then they moved Chipo from between the police. When they were doing this with Chipo, one of our guys left and came running to Garden Street already. He was not standing there to know what happened to Chipo, what didn't happen. That was not his assignment. His assignment was to link Garden Street to what was happening in the street. They moved Chipo out. They brought Chipo to headquarters. And Chipo wanted to know, Carla, what happened? I said, but you are traveling, and you know, we just want to make sure we're there for you. Chipo was convinced from that day that we met business. We were convinced. If you call Chipo those days, if he didn't see me or hear him around, he said, let's wait for Carla first. Because the operation was sound. We're not guessing. You can't want to do political party work or serious political work and you guessing. What kind of party are you running? You will get program. You will know yourself. What's the mission of these parties around here, by the way? And some of them say, Every day, I see NPP, I see CDC, I say to the young people, you better learn well. This is a tough business you are in, guys. The road can be muddied. It can be rough. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep those eyes on the prize. Because if you make error, you lost. A lot of time in politics, there's no second chance, my friends. We register. When we got cheaper, we applied to go to court October 11. The day of October 11, James A. closed down the Supreme Court of Liberia. The entire Temple of Justice was shut down. They shut it down because Paul is coming to court. And not only that they shut it down, they brought the armed forces of Liberia back into the street. They took them from the barrier again. The government of Liberia once again bringing our army, the people army, back into the street. That morning, we convened on Gator Street. We went to the mass grave of those poor people. We asked for their guidance, for their blessing, for everything that we knew, and we assured them that the struggle would go on. And we decided to them, we told them that we'll not go to court today. The government brought the army back in the street, let them deal with their own mess. The second lesson I want you to learn quickly, the government was getting used to bringing the army out, and the army was getting used to staying out. You follow that? The army was getting very comfortable coming out, and the government continued to bring them out, and so they got used to it. We went to court. I think a week later we went to court. There was a lady that was presiding over the probate court. Her name is Gladys Johnson. Gladys Johnson taught me in the 6th grade at gas school. She had just graduated from Cottonton. And she had not seen this child, this noisy child, in her class until 1979. The last time we met was 1966. She saw me, her mouth was wide open. She couldn't believe, what is this? So I said, Miss Johnson, you know, she just folded her arm like this place. We took our little papers and we gave them to the old man. And Chipo, the lawyer, is supposed to do a lawyer thing. But before we got Chipo, we went to see Nettie Brunel. Nettie Brunel. He was not well. But in this town, that was the only lawyer we thought would take our case to court. He was sick. He got up, Matthew and I were sitting down, and he looked us in the eye and he said, do you boys know what you're doing? Do you understand? Do you know how many people have gone down trying to oppose True We Party? Do you understand? He said, have you talked to Horace, to Bill Horace? He said, have you talked to Tuare? The story we got at the time, the True We Party made Tuare to eat his own species, call it anything, give it anything. They make it to eat it. He said, you talk to Tuare? Do you know David Coleman was killed? They brought him in town to BDC before they killed him? And you want to do this? Do you understand? For about 5 minutes, 3 of us sat in our room. Matthews, the old man himself, and he said, but let me say this to you. If you want to do this, then you got to learn to study your lesson. There's a lesson to be learned around here. He said, True We Party, if they're working 8 hours, can you work 24 hours? And we talk. And he said, I'm sick, boys. He said, I wish my health was good. I would love to take them on again. But I'm not well. I'm not well. But take your time. Talk to people. He gave us some names. People to talk to. Two, 3 weeks later, he passed. He passed. He passed. Yeah. That was someone who felt the heat from the True We Party, who knew a thing or two about our country, who understood the dynamics of this ethnic thing that he knew what it meant to be operating in the framework of one party system. One party, True We Party, have made Liberia one party state. And Paul came, Moja came to this place to tamper with the privileges of the prince and the princesses. And there's a piece of history that you must know. The princess or the prince or the kings, they don't just walk away. They will defend their privileges with their blood, with sweat, with tears. And True We Party had demonstrated that before. They had a very good track record to step upon the rights of opposition. We learned that. We understood that. Councillor Brownell, thank you for your advice. May you rest in perfect peace. Your country is better today than when we had this conversation. Chia Chipo took the party to court. We didn't make noise. We just carried paper there. And by that time, the whole party machine, we were all over the place recruiting more people now. The party is in court. Through party, they would do something, they would kill us. They were arresting some of our guys. They were beating them up, and we're recruiting more. On January 8, 1980, the party, Progressive People's Party, was registered. January 8, 1980. That week, we decided that we will present the first papers of any political party in our country. We will go and show it so that our people will see what it takes to make a party, the People's Party. And we decided that we'll host this thing in Buchanan on the fairground. The superintendent of Bassa informed the Minister of Internal Affairs and the President of Liberia that there is no one soul or PPP person in Grand Bassa County. And the President should be assured that no meeting will be held in Grand Bassa. Again, this gentleman just lied to the President. Grand Bassa County, as you may know, had or has 8 districts. We have effectively covered Grand Bassa County, including LAMCO, the entire LAMCO operation. And we decided that what we would do, the President came, the superintendent, the leadership, the True Way Party, people in Bassa came to see the President. And at that time, the President was about to deliver his annual message. And Gabriel Matthews, the chairman of the Progressive People's Party, and few members of the Central Committee decided to participate in the annual message festivity of our country. True Party people, they were pissed. Now, we were getting out of our place, I guess. Now, we're going to sit down in chambers to listen to annual message. They get some nerves. They get some nerve. They can't sit down here. By that time, I recalled, I was in Buchanan then. I was in Buchanan. Trying to make sure that the people come home to see the party, to see why it is to organize a party. The government again brought the army to town. And the guy that was in charge of that army detachment or that group was my cousin Lincoln, was my relative, my blood. He was in charge of the army. Lincoln Peel. Lincoln Peel was in charge of that group. They put them in a demonstration school. No food. I taught the poor people in Bassa to feed that house. That house must be felt. They ate. We treated them nicely, and we left them. Provided lunch, provided breakfast. They are our people. They are our army. We can't complain. Maybe the government has some constraints, they have some budgetary thing, We fell the army. And then the army was supposed to stop Paul thing. Oscar Quia came from Lamco with a huge delegation from Lamco to join the People's Rally. We had it next time. Yeah, they were arresting people here and there, some, We left Lamco, Buchanan, and we decided to go to Bonn. Remember those days, Bonn County was practically considered the home of President Talbot. And that's the place he want the opposition to show up. But we have been working in Bonn County for over 2-3 months. We're not doing badly. There's a guy, I don't know if he's still living today, they call him Aeon Cassell. He was in the house. We were walking and Aeon saw us innocently. And he said, well, what are you guys doing here? Matthew explained to him because all the work I was doing, I make sure it went on the ground. In politics, there's something they call timing. We understood that. Explained to him that we're there, True Party, they almost impeached this guy because he stood with us to talk to us. He almost got thrown out of Bonn County delegation to the house. All because he stood with our people. That was his crime. There's another lawyer from Bonn County. He was young, aggressive. Oh God, his name. Just in case any conversation, if I think of a name, but he was good. I see him growing up on the old road. He was living at Lutheran church had a dormitory. When they bring the Lutheran boys to Monrovia for school, they had a dormitory where the guys used to be. And this guy was always there. When he was going to LU and to law school. So I made friends with him. Long on the old road, because my brother was a lawyer. Sometimes my brother would say, carry a book to this guy. I'll go there, So the other guy who died now, he was on the Supreme Court bench, Emmanuel Ray. Sometimes I'll go to Emmanuel Ray's house, bring the law book from Emmanuel. So I knew all of these guys. And we saw him in Banga. And so for me, they're my old friend. So we talked to him, and those guys called real hell just for talking to us in Banga. That's the kind of price you pay when you're friendly with somebody like us. That True Party rub your nose in the mud. Anyway, we had this meeting in Bonn, but they were just arresting some Negro here. They were just arresting them. They were arresting people in Sino, in Bassa, in Bonn, in Nima. You just name it, man. But we made a conscious decision that whatever decision they make, we'll do what we'll do. We're not going to stop. They will have to fill the prison. We agree among ourselves that maybe few of us will get killed, but we got to go on. We couldn't stop. So we went to Sino, bang, Ambrose, we said who was the party chairman, they just roughed them up, beat them up, throw them in jail, out, in, out. Went to Sino. We came from Sino, we left some of our guys in prison. President Talbot and the True Party people were going to Nima. The right wing of the True We Party, we got a word, they were planning a coup. The right wing of the True We Party. But at that time, Samuel Doki, Yale, Voka, almost the entire leadership of PPP were in prison. Everybody, with the exception of DK Wanselier. So we agreed to go into Nima, take Councillor Chipo to fight a bomb or something, and get the guy that it was getting bad. That everywhere we turned, our guys were in prison. Chipo, SK Cooper, Poker Roberts, number all went to Nima. We also scheduled a rally in Sanikwele on the football field. President Tolbert and the True We Party will be meeting in Nima. They will meet in Nima. We wrote the president, Mr. President, who will be meeting in Nima in Sanikwele. We comb Nima. You understand the word comb?